The hottest topic in Idaho right now is real estate, whether that is new developments coming in, whether it's out-of-state residents or people worried about housing affordability. Today on the 1% podcast, we are welcoming Matt Bauscher, the top producing real estate agent in the state of Idaho and the highest producing real estate team in Bauscher Real Estate. We're excited to have Matt here with us to talk about all things real estate, things that you should be considering, whether you're a first-time home buyer, someone looking to move up in the market, or whether you're a real estate investor. So we're going to talk to Matt about his take on all things real estate, the impacts both in macro and microeconomics taking place here in the Treasure Valley. We're also going to talk to Matt about his background as a college athlete at Boise State and about how athletics helped shape his mindset in helping him to build an effective team and to grow his real estate company. So we're excited to have Matt Bauscher on the podcast today. Tomorrow is, right? Because your 100% is now better than it was yesterday. And now you're getting better
Absolutely.
than that, right? And you fast forward, you see people in life that believe in this, that work on themselves constantly, that, it may not be evident to anyone that's looking at it today.
Yep.
But if you look back in time, you look back a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, like these are the people that go dominate every industry.
Yep.
By virtue of wanting to be exceptional, by virtue of wanting to be the top 1% at anything, you have to be different than the other 99. Bad things happen.
Yep.
And you have a choice in that. Like, is this going to destroy me? Am I going to, sit and wallow and feel sorry for myself and wish that things were different, wish that my life was different? Or am I going to get up and make something different about it? Okay, a man that needs no introduction anywhere in the civilized world, Matt Bauscher, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get on here.
Yeah, no, love it. Glad to have you. I was actually just thinking about, you mentioned your son's at Boise State basketball camp this week. My son's got football and basketball stuff going on right now too. I was thinking back, I think it was 27 years ago, probably right around this week or last week or next week, that I first met you at an In-N-U basketball camp in Nampa. It's crazy. Thinking back on that, I remember I had just gotten a new pair of Jordan 13s had just come out, and here comes rolling in this Matt Bauscher dude from Valley View, and you're sporting the black and red Jordan 13s. I had the blue and white ones. But then the next day you show up in a different pair of basketball shoes, and the day after that a different pair, and I was like, what the heck? And just like inside, I'm like, I don't like this guy. I don't like him. But no, it was fun, like thinking back on that. But good memories. I've known you for a long time. And
2C, grew up in Canyon County, and it was great memories as a kid. I mean, it was those kind of camps and just, doing what you should do as a kid, right? Outside, enjoying everything Idaho has to offer.
Yep. So tell us about that. Tell us where you grew up, how you grew up, your family dynamics, all that stuff.
Born in Twin Falls. My dad was the superintendent of this little school district called Kimberly.
Yeah.
And then my mom's parents all lived in Marsing. They were farmers out in Marsing. So my mom was convincing my dad to move here. So when I was in first grade, we moved actually to Caldwell. And that's where I stayed. I graduated at Valley View. So that's basically everything I remember is
had a legendary playing career out of Valley View High School, won a state championship as a sophomore.
Yeah, we won it as a sophomore. I remember being a seventh grader and the head coach coming in with a basketball, and he was looking at all of us little kids, and I'm like this, and he's like, do you guys have any idea what this can do? It can take you all over the world. It can relationships. It can teach you about discipline and hard work. And just imagine a baseball, football, basketball, but in my time it was a basketball. Yeah. And he goes, this thing right here can pay for college. And I'm like, whoa, it's wild what, a sport can do for your life.
You're at this tiny little school surrounded by farms.
Oh, yeah. And I'm looking up and, no one hardly played college basketball from Valley View at the time. Yeah. It was few and far between.
Well, it was a small school at the time, right? Like
pretty small.
They haven't built a new high school yet when you would have been that age.
Yeah.
They got built right as you were getting it.
Right around there, yeah. And it was a great experience. We had the same team we played with since we were little kids till high school, and
I was a couple years behind you, but you guys had an amazing class. Mark and Sifa and Tyler Shannon and all you guys, right? Cody Jensen.
Yeah. We were all the same. We all grew up like this together, which is rare today. I feel like it's rare that a group grows up together.
Totally. Well, now, I mean, what you see in college sports, you're even seeing now in high school sports, right? Where it's like kids are basically on 1-year deals
Yeah.
and they're moving around, changing schools every year. And so,
Oh, yeah.
what we grew up with that, you get a class, you get a group of buddies together and stay together all the way up and build something special. Like, you shouldn't see that much anymore.
No, it's cool how it's evolved too. I mean, there's so many camps and opportunities. Back when we grew up, the opportunities were definitely limited, I felt like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So graduated from Valley View High School. So your dad was the superintendent
at Middleton, actually. Yeah, so he was running Middleton. My mom was working as a bookkeeper at Caldwell. I was going to Valley View, and my dad was running Middleton. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
But I thought I was really good in high school, and the offers just never came in. I didn't get a single college scholarship offer actually out of high school after being all-state and all those accolades. So I actually went to a junior college up in Spokane one year. My sister was a senior at Gonzaga, so I wanted to go somewhere I knew somebody. So me and her lived together. I was a freshman at Spokane Community College. She was a senior at Gonzaga, and that's where I think I evolved kind of as a boy to a man in terms of nobody is there but myself. I got to get up on my own. I got to work out on my own. I got to focus on where I want to go. And that 1 year was a great development year for me.
So what was it that changed? I mean, I knew you in high school, played against you. You're a very good player, right? Like, no doubt about it. But like where you were as a high school player to where you eventually got to, like, I remember coming home from my mission and being like, "What? Matt's played over in Europe." Like, it's crazy. Like, you'd been at Boise State and had a successful career there. So talk to us about that transition. What ended up happening? What were the commitments and mindset changes that you underwent, and what did that look like?
I think whether it's work, sports, when you are kind of who you surround yourself with, and in Idaho sports, they're good, they're not great. Yeah. So you feel good about yourself, right? Until you get into a bigger pond. Yep. So when I got to junior college, and I'm like, holy cow, weights were way more important. I didn't take them as seriously in high school as I should have. Swim workouts at 5 a.m. became a necessity for the team. I mean, it was all day long like a full-time job. And I was looking around and then we got introduced to some of the Gonzaga basketball guys because they were in Spokane. And I was like, I got to go to a whole nother level and push myself to extremes if I want to even have any chance at this thing. So it was good looking in the mirror and not having mommy and daddy to help me and coddle me and, do my laundry and all the little things that you get pampered in high school.
Yeah. So you went up there, had a successful year up in Spokane, and then what did that look like with moving forward to?
I almost went to Idaho. I was almost a Vandal.
Okay.
And then I took a visit to Montana State. So
how different your life might have been.
Oh man! So I go to Montana State. They offer me a scholarship, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to take a full ride. I'll go live in Bozeman and finish my last 3 years. I went 1 year junior college, so I had 3 years to play. Yeah. I was going to go to Montana. I can't now imagining how I got to Montana State. So they offer me a scholarship. I get back to Spokane. I got a month left, and they leave a voicemail on my answer machine saying, basically, we've retracted your scholarship. You no longer have a scholarship offer. And I'm as an 18-year-old kid, I'm like, wow, that was deep, because I dealt with a lot of failure in basketball before, thinking I would get a walk-on position, no, a scholarship position, no, College of Idaho, no scholarship offer, NNU, no scholarship offer out of high school. So I go, wow. So I get back, and Boise State invited me to walk on, which would have been a dream. And my parents were kind of like, go where you're going to get a scholarship, somewhere that really wants you. And I mean, I wanted to play for Boise State, but I knew that was ambitious. Yeah. I mean, I'm at a junior college level that's here, and then Boise State's at this level. After I committed to walk on to Boise State, University of Idaho offered me a scholarship. Then University of Montana offered me a scholarship. And it was... And I think at a time as a kid, you're thinking, wow, a scholarship of $10,000 or $20,000 and to go play, but you don't think like life after sports. Yep. Had I built relationships in Bozeman, Montana, they would be worthless for me today.
Yeah.
So I rolled the dice at Boise State and ended up, being a captain and on full ride scholarship. And back then, guess how much money we got per month on full ride at Boise State?
How much?
$515, and that covered room, food, board, everything. I mean, it was tough living back then.
Yeah, different world today.
Yeah.
So you met your wife, Lindsay, there?
No, we actually met. So we met her. She was studying in Spain in Alicante while I played my first year professionally in Holland, in Amsterdam. So I kind of Facebook stalked her, She didn't respond super quick, but I was persistent. You got to be persistent.
That's right.
And then we get back to Boise after my second year overseas, and we were introduced, and I like to say the rest is history.
There you go. Love it. So your career played out at Boise State. Talk to us about moving and going and playing professionally overseas. What did that look like? How'd those opportunities come up?
I wanted to go to law school, so I worked at a big law firm downtown. That was the plan. I took the LSATs. I wanted to be an attorney. My older sister's an attorney. That was the goal. Got my bachelor's in political science. That was always the plan. And then an opportunity came to play in Europe, and I didn't even know where Holland was on the map. I had never been to Europe. I mean, I'm just an Idaho kid.
Yeah.
Europe. Yeah. So I looked on the map. I packed 2 bags, didn't know anything, and I went out on a 9-month contract, and it was a little homesick at the beginning, the language and the food and all that. But again, it was like the same junior college moment. Holy cow, I'm a long ways from home. Yep. I got to try to make this work.
Yeah. And all these dudes were great players wherever they came from. And so all of a sudden, your background at Boise State, it's like, okay, you're just one of many all of a sudden.
Yep. And then it's another bigger pond, right? Yep. You go now. There's more competition, and it's cutthroat. You don't play well, you're fired.
Yeah.
That was the talk in Europe. I mean, it wasn't, we're going to give you opportunities. You don't play well, you don't have a job.
So you're all in, betting on yourself. So you went and played in Europe for what were you, 6 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got a bachelor's degree or master's degree while I was over there.
Okay.
And then I loved it. I mean, it was only supposed to be 1 or 2 years, then I was going to go back to law school. Well, it turned out to be 6, and now I'm 29, and I'm like, whoa. I want to start a family. I want to start a business back in Boise. I don't want to do this, so long that I miss kind of a wave back home.
So 29, come back here.
Yep.
Talk about what was next. I know you didn't jump immediately into real estate, but like, what did that kind of transition look like?
I got a real estate license. I mean, you grow up, you don't want to be a realtor. My parents were like, "You're gonna be a realtor, like Matt? That's what you want to be?" Right? So
after all we've done for
like all these goals and ambitions and degrees,
be an attorney.
Yeah, why would you want to be a realtor? Because the bar's pretty low, right? It's a 2-week course, and a lot of people do it part-time, so it's not something that's looked at as this doctor, lawyer.
There's a spectrum. Yeah.
There's a spectrum, absolutely. It's few and far between. So I got my real estate license to do investment deals, and then I actually got a medical sales job for a Fortune 200 company that I did for 2 years while I was starting my real estate. My wife, Lindsay, got pregnant with our first. So then it was another moment where I'm like, wow, I don't have basketball as my go-to. I got to go out in the business world, try to make a living. My biggest fear was I couldn't provide for my newborn baby and my wife, who at the time wasn't working. So I felt, again, kind of pressure is kind of a privilege. I like having pressure. It allows me to go, and
some people get squashed by it, and other people flourish from it.
Yeah, whether I'm golfing, basketball, whatever it is, I feel like if there's something on the line, I tend to love it, and it's
better.
It's a pit in the stomach that just feels good.
Yeah. So transition into real estate full time, kind of took a couple of years, and you're like, hey, I'm going all in on this. What did that look like for you? Of transition, moving away from medical sales job, right? I'm sure you're making good money doing that, to all of a sudden, right? And I talk to people a lot that a salary can easily become like a drug. From chasing their dreams.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you get a salary and it's like, we're comfortable.
Yep.
I'm making 6 figures doing this. This is risky. My friends, my family, my parents, people are telling me not to do it. But you made that leap. Anybody in sales that's on commissions, I mean, you hear feast or famine. It's either highs or lows. You can't have consistent results. It's, it's an 80% burnout rate. It's hard to achieve. Yep. What if 2008 happens again? Yep. And for 6 months, I sold nothing. I thought, being Matt Bauscher from Boise, people were just going to call. Phone wasn't ringing. Yeah. I mean, nobody. Well, and you were a successful athlete at Boise State, right? That's safe to say. But I think it's also safe to say that there have been more successful athletes. Oh, right? By far. There's other dudes that have, come here and had great name credibility. Oh, yeah. But that hasn't necessarily transitioned into a successful business career, right? Yep. So I don't think that it's just the fact that, oh, hey, Matt played at Boise State and Matt's business comes because he played at Boise State, right? It's like there's, oh, no. I mean, hundreds of dudes that have been here that have come and played that didn't really do anything with it. Yeah. Life after sports, right?
Yeah.
And so transitioning that, it's not just like, hey, playing basketball, here's what created your business. It was creating the business that created the business.
That's so spot on, because I get to talk to the new Boise State basketball team this week, and sometimes I get to talk to them about nothing about sports. Yeah. They have an opportunity right now to try to meet people and network and because as soon as you're done, I mean, I was there 15 years ago. I mean, I'm such a has-been. You can't keep playing that I used to play basketball card. That thing gets old quick.
Yeah. There's like
like Uncle Rico. I could throw it over the mountain. Like no one cares.
There's like 300 other dudes that have played here since you did.
Yeah, it's like
on the basketball team, not to mention anything else.
It's an avenue, and it can work for you.
Yeah.
But if you rely on that, you'll be like me. The first 6 months, I had no sales.
And then what happened?
Which was humbling.
Yeah. How did that change? Like, what did that transition look like? Because, I mean, you were the youngest agent ever to close 100 deals in a single year.
Yeah.
In Idaho. Now you're closing well over 200 homes a year consistently. Like, what was that change? What happened? I mean, obviously, improvements with the economy, help with things like that. But talk through, like, what was your mindset? How did you transition? I mean, at first you started, I'm guessing, just you.
Yep.
And then eventually you're building out a team. Right?
Yeah.
And talk about that process. And I think that so many times in business, there's nothing secret about the sauce. The secret sauce is going and doing the work, right? Like, we give it away for free. Like, if anyone wants to know, like, what we do, it's like, just watch and listen. And we'll give it away for free. The secret sauce is in the application, and most people just aren't willing to put in the work that it takes to actually go apply it.
That's so spot on. I mean, Michael Jordan can tell me how to shoot fadeaways. I'm never going to shoot like Michael Jordan. It's not it's the doing, it's the repetition, it's the hard work. So after the first 6 months, I didn't sell a single house. I mean, I was like any human. I was saying, this is probably not for me. This is going to be tough pressure to support my family. Like, I don't know if selling real estate is my end all be all. And so I was borderlining thinking, like, thank gosh I have this medical sale job to at least cover the necessities. Yeah. And then I just go, you know what? It's back to the time where I'm back against the wall. Let's try to make something of it. Get up early, stay late, do the right thing, treat people incredibly well, and try to provide just value for free all day. I'm just, hey, let me give you everything I can for free. If you want to use me, great. If you don't, you don't. Yeah. And give. And typically, it'll come back. And the second 6 months, I sold 22 houses. So then.
Wait, what year would this have been?
This is my first year in real estate, so 2014. Okay. So the next year I sell 52. And the next year is 105 with no team. So and I had the medical cell job. So it's getting to be a lot. Newborn baby, and I'm just, grind now, shine later. Oh, yeah, all day long. Yeah. Like, it was put on the, go home and, do it all again. Just boom, boom, boom. So then I said, I can't do medical sales. The people always say, are you a jack of all trades, a master of none? And I'm like, wow, I want to be the master of what I want to do. Yeah. So and then I just started building with the right people. And now our team is just, I'd never wanted a huge team, and it's just evolved into finding the right people in the right roles that grow it. And, I don't have 200 employees, but it feels like, we have a pretty good army back at the office.
Yeah. Well, and talk about like attracting those people to come to work for you. What I know of you, that I love how you coin the phrase or use it, whatever, of being a real estate advisor. Yeah. Right. That you give away what you know for free. Yep. And people are attracted to that.
Yeah. Right?
And your marketing is just sharing what you know.
Yeah. I just give. And my team, I mean, I love them. I love them beyond real estate. I love them as people, and I would do anything for them. I mean, literally anything. And I think I give them more benefit of the doubt. They make mistakes. We grow together. Yeah. Everybody makes mistakes every day. You're not going to be perfect. You have 100 ground balls and you get 97 of them. The 3 are going to stand out as mistakes, but let's focus on the 97 things we did good. Yeah. And then how can we improve the 3 things that were big mistakes?
Let's watch them film.
Yeah.
Let's assess.
100%. Let's watch film. Let's go through it. Let's work together. Because I think in a world now where it's me, like, it's rare that, let's say you have a team of commission people, and it's rare that you're so excited for somebody else when they win from any team, totally. Right? You're just pumped for the other person that has no financial benefit for you necessarily. And I think in general, when you have people that are that elated, it's really special.
Well, and that says a lot about your culture that you've created, because that's not common, right? Like
No.
anyone that's been in any sort of commission-based sales situation, you know that it's very easy for people to get a scarcity mindset, right? To be
Yep.
like, hey, if someone else is winning, that means I'm
Yep.
losing, right? Like, and so the fact that you can go create a culture where you have people that are genuinely happy for one another, right? Like, that's how you create great teams. I say it all the time that great leaders don't create more followers, they create more leaders.
Yeah.
And, it seems to me that's the case with your team. And as I see other people on your team succeeding and what their growth's been like. So you came in, so you were involved with Nick at Amherst, Mass.
Yeah.
So kind of talk about that, of Amherst starting up, getting off the ground.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were kicking butt at the time when you first came on board. Kind of talk to us about that growth and evolution, and then creating the Bauscher real estate team. And
Yeah. Everybody kind of, there's a brokerage people put there that people go under. And Nick offered me an ownership role, maybe 2 or 3 years into the process. I think Nick saw that we could grow this thing, and we have completely different personalities. He is very analytical and driven, and I'm, we just have different personalities. I mean, what we have in common is we both love to work,
Yeah.
and we both love to make a difference and impact and grow personally. But we've been together for 7-8 years now, growing this thing, and he's done a great job on the brokerage front. And then the Bauscher is kind of one of the teams. We have multiple teams at the brokerage that I've grown underneath it.
No, it's awesome. So let's talk about what you guys have going on right now. So in May 2025, you guys just closed $43 million in transactions. Like, not typical, right? Like,
No.
you see a lot of realtors that they close $5, $10, $15 million worth of transactions in a year.
Yeah.
There's some realtors that had an amazing year, closed $25 million in transactions. You guys did $43 million in May. Like,
Yeah.
this is not typical, right? Like the Matt Bauscher real estate, what you guys are accomplishing is different, right? Like, maybe talk about that and what you feel like you've done, what's taken to get to that you're not comparing yourself to anyone else, right? It's like you have your level.
No.
Don't care what anyone else is doing.
And, the numbers in any business is just a byproduct of the people you're around. I firmly believe that. Like, the team is so dialed and our clients are so amazing because now you have a decade plus of raving fans out there that you've done the right thing for, they've remembered. And even if they only tell one person a year, it grows so organically that you don't have to rely as much on the marketing and the cold ads and that aspect. It's more of, real estate by referral, just the old school. Yeah. I don't even need contracts a lot of the time up front. People are like, can I get the contract? I'm like, I'm a shake a hand kind of guy. We'll get the contract done, but I'm not going to throw a contract down their throat. Sign with me. Yeah. It's completely against everything. We'll sign a contract because we have to down the road.
Yeah.
But if I tell you something, I like to think that my handshake is all they need.
Yeah. And people want to work with you, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I've noticed that you've done an amazing job of is you built out your brand and the consistency of doing what you do, that people want to come to you. Talk about building your personal skill set, right? Like selling luxury real estate, which you've really put yourself into that space and dominated that space. Talk about that and developing your personal skill set relative to real estate. You mentioned a little bit earlier about your parents, don't be a realtor at the bar so low. What is the difference in developing a skill set like that? And what did you do? What have you done to develop yourself, to set yourself apart from really everyone else or what they're doing?
There really wasn't even a real estate market here 10 years ago
for the luxury stuff.
No, I mean, it didn't really exist. There was only a handful every year that would even sell kind of in that space. I mean,
if $1 million plus home sold, that was a big deal.
Oh, that was a huge deal.
A $2 million house, like unheard of.
Yeah. I mean,
2 years ago.
Early in my career, I mean, I was driving all over town to sling $80,000, $100,000 houses. And I mean, that's just what the average price was. I think my average price was $220,000 my first year for a house price. And we still, went above and beyond to do everything humanly possible. But to me, luxury is definitely not even a price point. It's just an experience of really treating them right and trying to be there with them every step of the way, provide value, and just try to handle everything. I mean, people have so much going on in their lives, their family, their jobs, there's health, there's all these things they have. And with a real estate move being one of the most stressful things you're ever going to have.
Yep.
So if we can try to take and alleviate that stress, provide value, and get you exactly what you're owed on your home or negotiate the best deal as a buyer, it's just one thing that's such a monumental step that they can say, wow, I had a luxury experience, because we do all price points.
Yeah.
But I want their experience to just feel like it is absolutely perfect, that everything's handled. They know we have our back, and then we'd go to war for them.
No, love it. So let's talk a little bit about that. So a couple of projects you have going on right now in the development phase. So you have the ranch.
Yep.
North Eagle. Let's talk about that project first.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. What are you doing? What do you guys have going on? Obviously, you and Brian are really close friends, and so kind of relationships are everything. Yeah. But talk about that project specifically, what you guys have going on, and for those that may not be aware of it.
The ranch is super special. The Scott family is the owner developer of that. I mean, they have some incredible projects and philanthropy throughout the valley. I mean, they own Shore Lodge and Whitetail and so much commercial real estate and ranches. And I mean, the Catherine Albertsons Foundation, everything they've done for our state, the parks. I mean, it's one of the pioneers that, as the state is what it is because of that family and families like them. So it's an honor that I get to work with a family that does everything right. I mean, they've gone so above and beyond on this project. When it's done, it's just going to be really cool. That's going to stand the test of time. It's a luxury community in North Eagle, so it's Beacon Light Eagle Road area. There's only 34 home sites, so it'll be acreage. We've already got final plat. We have home lots already selling. There's only a few left, which is exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been such a fun process. It's about a 4-year process to go through the process, and you learn a lot on these projects too that I feel like can sharpen the sword.
Yeah, well, I remember you and I talking about this a few years ago. I took a drive out there just a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
to see the progress on it. It's beautiful. You guys did curb gutters.
Oh yeah,
on acreages. What are the lot sizes and what do they kind of vary from? And price point.
3 to 5 acres, are the lot sizes. So what they've done is a cluster. Instead of doing 5-acre kind of tic-tac-toe boards, they've actually done, common areas with gardens and lakes, and then your actual acreage is actually all usable instead of having part of your lot in a common area. So it's really neat because we've seen that there's a high demand for the 2 to 3 acre parcels.
Yeah.
People maybe want a little more than one for all their toys and stuff outside, but they don't necessarily want 10 acres. So it's kind of that perfect sweet spot that we've hit, and it's still close to town, but it does feel rural.
Yeah.
So it's just hard to find a lot of land right now that you could bunch together and create a development on. I mean, it's getting gobbled up.
Yeah, for sure.
When we grew up, land was easy to come by, and now it's few and far between.
Well, let's talk about that because we have a ton of people moving here from out of state, right? Like, and you probably have the statistics off the top of your head of how many people are moving here every year. What are your thoughts and your concerns with that? Because like you see it, I'll take Europe, for example.
Yep.
Right? You take the policies in Europe and the immigration that's happened there, that at some point your culture gets washed out.
Yeah.
Right. And so I know that is a concern of some people, that obviously you and I make money by people moving here.
Yep.
Growth is a positive thing. I don't think it's a negative thing. But what are your thoughts and feelings about how do we do this in a smart way?
Yeah.
Planning communities, having diversity of housing, different opportunities like that, but not washing away what makes Idaho amazing. Right?
Yeah.
If you transplanted 30 million people from California,
oh my gosh,
all of a sudden the Idaho way of life is gone.
Yeah.
Right now, all of a sudden it's, okay, where do we go from here to go find something else? So I don't think that any of us want that, but what are your thoughts and feelings regarding the growth and doing that in a smart way, and whether that's working with the different cities here or things that can be done, developers, like just kind of your thoughts and feelings around all of that.
Yeah, there's so much to take in because when we grew up here, there was 250,000 people in the entire Treasure Valley, and that was Boise, Meridian, Eagle. Eagle High School wasn't even until 1995. There was no Eagle High School. So it's grown, we're at close to 900,000 people. So just imagine your business. All of a sudden you have 25 people on your team, and then all of a sudden, you have 90. And there's going to be growing pains and infrastructure issues and safety and crime and, education. There's a lot of things that play into it that go into it. And then your public hunting land is now, looks like a public park. Yep. I mean, it's hard to find, the same trails that were peaceful and all these issues that, a lot of Idahoans, I mean, we were born and raised here. 1 out of 3 people probably, or, 2 out of 3 weren't. Yep. So you have the animosity from the Idahoans. Then the other, thing is there's also great things that have happened. We have, better doctors. We're attracting better talent. I mean, look at the expansion of St. Luke's and, Micron and Meta and some of the stuff that comes here. But I think you have to double down and really You don't want homeless to be a problem. Are you donating on it? Are you being an advocate on it? What are you doing to try to prevent it? We're receiving a lot of the benefits, but when you receive, you must give as well, right?
Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit about that with the changes that you see with people coming here, all the new construction that's happening. What are you seeing? Like, what's your outlook in the market overall? What you're seeing like right now, and then what you see moving forward into the future?
I mean, from a population growth, the entire Treasure Valley, we only have about 16,000 people roughly moving here a year.
Yeah.
Because it's 2% roughly. So you're talking 16 to 20,000 people a year in the entire valley. Yeah. So it feels like it's just crazy, right? It's a madhouse and there's 100,000 people moving here, but it's, 16 to 20,000 people per year dispersed. And the good thing is you can't create inventory overnight. I mean, these subdivisions we're involved in, I have another one by Eagle High School called Centera that it's a 4-year process. And then you start slowly building houses, and this entire thing is only going to get 69 houses. So you average 2.5 people per house. I mean, there's less than 200 people that this 5-year process will have when it's done in probably 24 months.
Yeah.
So it's, it is a slower process.
Yeah. What do you see in the demographics of people moving here? We see a lot of people that are older, wanting to retire, wanting to come move here, get out of Washington, Oregon, California, whatever, political refugees, as some of them call themselves, wanting to get away from the liberal policies that we see in some of those other states. Well, what do you see age-wise, and what do you see reasons of why people are wanting to move here?
There's so many different reasons, and the good thing that I feel blessed with, like you talk about the Bannock project downtown with the Alquist, it's a whole different buyer pool from the ranch and from Centera. So I get to see a good mixture of why people are coming. We're coming here because of our grandkids. We want to be closer to our grandkids. We don't want to miss these memories we'll never get back. And we need a footprint in Boise. We're coming back for a job. I grew up here. We're coming back. Outdoor enthusiasts. People aren't moving here because it's cheap anymore.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
Well, which used to be the reason why people
100%.
moved here, right? Because it was like, hey, it's inexpensive. Cost of living is low. It's a great place to live, great place to raise a family. You've got the outdoors and everything close by. But yeah, come move to Boise. And so that attracted a lot of people. That's not here anymore, right? Like cost of living is now on par with a lot of other places, but people also have flexibility to live where they want to live. COVID really changed the world.
Sure did.
And now all of a sudden people can work remotely in a lot of cases. I'm sure you're seeing a lot of people move here because of that.
A lot of people have the flexibility of working or only traveling a couple days a month. And I would love to see a statistic, the state of Idaho, how many people are actually employed within the state of Idaho versus employed out. I think the percentages would shock us just from my small sample pool. But it did. COVID opened up the world that you're online, you're in meetings from all over the world, and you can live wherever you want, which immediately Idaho would.
Because that was always the problem here, right? Like the problem was jobs.
No jobs.
There weren't high-paying jobs here, so people were leaving because, hey, there's nothing here that can keep us trying to grow. You got to go move to a bigger city. But now we don't see that being a problem, right? Like obviously we've had a lot of influx of jobs coming in, whether it's Micron, Meta, St. Luke's, other things like that, attracting people to be here, but also the online portion. So now all of a sudden it isn't the jobs being the issue, the development issue, the development keeping up with the demand and doing that.
And finding the labor, for your guys' projects. I mean, you got to have labor, you got to have workers, or the growth can't happen. So it's something I think the state's doing a pretty good job at trying to entice high-paying jobs to come to the Treasure Valley, which will keep it going.
So let's talk about the Bannock project. You alluded to that a little bit. Obviously very different than the ranch and North Eagle. The ranch is acreage properties, estates, primarily catering to, I'm sure, people with families and that want to have a bigger property like that, a larger home to raise their family in and stuff. The Bannock project downtown, high-end condos, something unique, right? Like we haven't really seen stuff like this happening in Boise. Obviously, you have the Arthur project that just took place. Talk about what you guys are doing at the Bannock.
The Arthur project's amazing. Most of the all buildings like the Arthur, they're all for rent. So the fund or the group that owns the building essentially will collect mailbox money from the renters for as long as they want. They'll season the building, then they have options. They can sell the entire building at a cap rate because they've rented it all out. They can keep it as a long-term play. This is a complete hybrid that Alquist is doing. So every single, 64 of the 69, they're going to retain 5. But 64 of them are going to be sold to people like you and me. And then somebody's going to have an opportunity to actually own their own condo downtown, which for a high rise,
Yeah, not many of them.
no, steel constructed high rise for sale. I mean, it's been over a decade, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool because it's lock and leave. And so many people that have multiple houses or that don't want the yard maintenance anymore, they're calling us on this project because they want to be downtown.
Yeah.
They love it. They're close to everything you moved to Boise for.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure maybe people affiliated or working at St. Luke's would be likely clients for it. Like you said, people that want to have the lock and leave type of lifestyle that, hey, we want to downsize, we want to have something downtown. We like all the entertainment, restaurants, concerts, Boise State games, whatever. Yeah. So what do you guys see happening there? What type of traction have you had with that?
We've had really, really good traction.
When is completion estimated for, and what does that look like? What I know you guys had some
early 2026. The building should be done, which is great. We're going to have staged models done here in a couple months. Then we can start taking people up to see what the views are going to be like. Because the wild thing is the view. Now I'm looking at the Capitol building. Now I have the foothills. Now I have Boise State downtown. I mean, it's so crazy, the different vantage points, how beautiful our city is.
Yeah.
And how special this project is. I really want to invest in one to have, because I feel like as Boise continues to grow, the opportunity to have one of these, it might be another decade before there's another building.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. The next couple questions had to do with people investing in the real estate market right now. Let's maybe take someone in your position or comparable to it, investing in real estate at this time. Obviously, real estate in Boise is at an all-time high, but what do you see happening with that? Do you feel like right now is a good time in the market for people to be jumping in and buying investment properties, whether it's, a place like the Bannock or somewhere else?
I think that most of the people were around, me included. The only real estate I personally regret, and almost all my clients regret, is the real estate that they sold. Why couldn't I have held on to that house? Yeah. Right? I sold it at this, and 15 years later it was worth this. If you believe in Boise and the Treasure Valley, then you're a buyer. Yeah. I mean, in 10 years, if you think prices are going to be lower than today, then I wouldn't buy. Yeah. If you firmly believe that.
And by association, you would also have to believe that there's going to be fewer people here in 10 years than there are right now, right?
And there's going to be a lot of inventory, right?
Yeah.
All
of a sudden, believe that in 5 years or 10 years from now, there's going to be more people here than are currently here. Prices aren't going to be the same. They're more expensive.
Yeah. Unless the cost of construction is going to go significantly down to back where it was, 10 years ago. I don't see there being this massive price correction because we don't have the supply. Yeah. I mean, we just don't have it.
Yeah.
So I'm always a buyer, depending on the deal, the uniqueness of it, the terms of it. As an investor, you have so many, cost segregation studies and so many depreciation things you can work with taxes. I won't get into all that, but there's so many vehicles owning an investment property can provide.
Yeah. So what about first-time home buyers, people that have never owned a home yet, that are looking, wanting, wishing, right? Like that's the American dream, is everyone wants to own a home, but people will feel like, hey, we're priced out of the market, or we're going to sit and wait and hopefully prices are going to come down, interest rates are going to come down. What would you say to those people?
Get in the market, whether it's a town that's outside of the town you want to be in, or it's a smaller house than what you ideally want, or you have to beg somebody to co-sign, or however creative you can scratch just to get on the side, just get in the game. Yep. And then you can always parlay that and use that tool that you've bought. I mean, in what industry can you put as little as 0% down? Let's say you buy a $300,000 house, you put down $3,000 and it goes up, let's just say 20%. Your $3,000 had an opportunity to grow $60,000 for very little down, for all the tax savings. So if you can just get in the game, it'll pay off. But I just feel bad for a lot of people on the sideline that are hesitant to make that move.
Yeah.
Just go further out or do whatever, get a smaller house, just whatever you can do to become a homeowner.
What creative strategies have you seen people employ getting into a first-time home or upgrading from the home that they're already in?
I mean, between co-signing or you get a good down payment, there's doing seller carries at lower interest rates that could gradually go up. Hey, I'll give you your price, but interest rate needs to be 4% for the first year. Then it can go up to 5%, and it can teeter up if I can't pay you off in time. Yeah. Gives you time to refinance, get options.
Buying businesses, but
absolutely
real estate too.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've done massive deals on seller carry terms that are just creative financing that both buyer and seller. Absolutely, we did one on, a super luxury property we did that worked out, and buyer and seller were elated. And this is 3-4 years ago. It worked out for everybody. So I mean, excuses are easy to come by, or you can get creative and make things happen.
So with interest rates obviously higher than they were 4 or 5 years ago, I think that most people are in a home that they have a lower interest rate on. moving up may be prohibitive to them based on what they're seeing with interest rates now. What would your advice to them be? They say, hey, look, we've outgrown our home, our family's grown, we want to get into something bigger, we need to get into something bigger, we just don't know if we can afford it because of interest rates right now and the cost to do it. What would be your advice? What are tactics or things that you've given to people or worked with people on?
That's a lot of them. They need a bigger house, but the payment on the new one is going to be a lot because of its higher interest rate. They're sitting on what I say, they have a lot of equity in their house, but that equity is held hostage, right? It's just sitting there. It's not doing anything.
And this is so many people, right?
So many people. This is half of my conversations is this exact scenario. So what I like to say is, well, if you're married, you have a $500,000 tax-free profit. So depending on what you bought it for, what you sold, it's one way to reset your basis. If you stay in the same house for 20 years, you're eventually going to be paying capital gains, call it 25% on every dollar it goes up if you're over that $500,000 threshold. But in a situation like that, is there any way we can sell the house, use that equity to pay off any interest rate, high interest debt you have? Let's say it's credit cards. Pay that 20% interest off immediately, use the equity, or any car, anything that's high, and then buy the house. But the hard thing is giving up that interest rate. But if you believe interest rates could go down and you can afford it now, it'll just be a benefit when they actually do go down and you can refinance.
Yeah. So I hear and see the sentiment a lot from younger people, right? Gen Zers. It's less expensive to rent a house than it is to own one. I'm just going to rent. I don't want to own anything. Owning a home comes with all these other hidden costs. I want to have the flexibility of being able to move whenever I want. What would you say to people like that are hesitant about buying, maybe because they want to have the flexibility or they feel like, they've been talked out of, right? Like you have.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Grant Cardone fan, but, Grant Cardone's like, no one should own a home.
Yeah.
No one should own a home. You should just rent. What would your advice or your counter argument to that be?
Tell that to anybody that's owned a home in Boise, Idaho for the last 15 years if they were renting and the rents have gone up and you're not in control of your own destiny. People like to be in control of their own destiny. You can't paint that wall. You're a tenant, right? I'm upping the rent. What are you going to do? Hey, I decided to sell it. Sorry, you and your family is displaced. What's that worth? If it's strictly dollars and cents and you don't think anything's ever going to appreciate, I could see his argument. But if you are going to leave town in a year or you're coming in on a 1-year job, it might not make sense to buy.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about NBA, NFL guys who are going to a city for 1 or 2 years. I don't know if it makes sense for them to drop millions of dollars for a home that they don't know is going to be a long-term solution. So I would agree it's a case-by-case scenario. But if you buy at a certain price point and the rent can cover the mortgage, you use let's say you leave town and I can use that renter to pay off the mortgage and then I'm going to have a property free and clear. That's a good situation.
Yeah. And as you see the real estate market outpacing pretty much anywhere else where you can put your money, right? Like I tell people all the time, the best thing you can invest in is yourself. The second best thing you can invest in is a company that you own and control. And the third best thing you can invest in is real estate, right? Because especially here, real estate is outpacing what you're going to go get out in the market, an index fund or anywhere else where you're going to put your money. I like investing in things that I understand. And so I understand my businesses and I understand real estate. And so investing in real estate, like you said, tell that to anyone that's lived in Boise, Idaho for the last 15 years, right? If you bought a house here 15 years ago and you're still sitting on that piece of real estate, like you're doing.
You're going to be happy with your decision.
Yeah. Talk about the local market, the microeconomics, what we have having here. I heard you on Tommy's podcast he did a couple weeks ago, and you were talking about new construction versus existing homes that are selling here and the rapid rate of new construction. You talked about like out in Canyon County, 1 out of every 2 homes that sells is new construction. Talk about that and kind of the big picture impacts that has on the market here.
A lot of things played into that. For one, when the market hit the crash in 2008 to 2014, we didn't have very much building going on, right? And then we got behind and we tried to recreate it, but we didn't. And then the people that we just said who have great interest rates and a lot of, a high percentage of the country has no mortgage, and then you have people with low interest rates, there's not going to be any supply for these people that are attracted to move here. And now you have a different equation no one even talks about. You have the big stone, the Black Rocks, all these big groups who are buying thousands of houses, who are just crushing, the American dream for a lot of people, and they're buying them up in droves and subdivisions and all that. We didn't have to contend with that, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
You see that a lot?
That's happening more and more. They want something that is tangible, that they know that they can have, that will always collect rent and could appreciate. And then they have so many tools that they're making off that. And you see now all the national home builders, most of them are in town, which we didn't have that before.
Yeah.
So you have them kind of fighting amongst each other to get land, get it entitled, develop, buy finished lots, create inventory. So yeah, half of every house in Canyon County is now brand new. Because if there wasn't that supply, I mean, there'd be no opportunity for growth.
Yeah. So what do you see with those national home buyers coming in, right? Like BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. For those that may not know, the three largest entities on the planet, they own everything, right? Like they're the largest shareholder of one another. They own Google, they own Yahoo, they own Apple, they own Meta, like they own everything. They've decided now they want to be in the home business. And the idea and concept that you'll own nothing and that you'll be happy about it. Coming here, they're buying on pace to own roughly 60% of the real estate in America by 2030. What do you see with that? What do you see the impacts of that being on a macro level and here locally? And what would your advice be to people that are hesitant about buying real estate right now?
I think you have to control your own destiny, and you don't want to leave any of that up for chance. I mean, the established communities, it would be really hard for them to come in and try to buy up a high percentage, but the subdivisions that can be, a whole subdivision for rent, we're seeing that more and more. I mean, you see those signs, community for rent. So every home in there is a rental. Yeah. They're held by one entity, most likely. And it's an interesting dynamic. It really is, to not have the home ownership, which has been the American dream for the test, for as long as we were created. It's to own a house, to raise your family. Yeah. And
there's kind of this dichotomy in ways of thinking with affordable housing versus long-term sustainable communities, right? Like wanting to live in a place, like people want to be here because of the lifestyle. And if you go create communities full, right? I'm talking thousands and thousands of homes full of these type of developments that are community for rent. Sure, that may in a way help people to, I guess, in effect, have places to live. But what does that do to our economy? What does that do to our state? What does that do to the lifestyle here? And in my opinion, that's something that municipalities, cities need to be really, really careful.
Yeah. Yeah, the municipalities have a huge role right now because they're all independent and they're all governed in different ways, and they have a huge responsibility now. I don't think city council members have ever been more important than this stretch we're about to go through.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the national races get a lot of attention, right? When presidential election cycles come up, when, Congress and all that type of stuff, when those type of things come up, when you get a new governor's race going on. But really, the local governments, your school boards, your city councils, your mayors, your county commissioners, like those people have a massive say and a big impact on what's happening in your community and in the types of developments that come in, right? It's like if you've ever been to a city council meeting, that's all they are, right? Like,
oh yeah,
that is all they are. They're talking about development, they're talking about approving projects and the type of projects they're going to approve to come into your city and what that's going to look like and what the future is being painted. So advocating, anyone out there, exercise your rights to vote, make sure that you're aligning with and electing officials that believe in what you believe in, but balancing that idea that, hey, we need to have growth. We want to have diversity of housing here. Housing affordability is an issue for a lot of people, but interested to get your take on this. But I say all the time that if you're focused on housing affordability, you're focused on the wrong place.
Yeah.
Rather, your focus should be on bettering yourself and bettering your skill set and controlling your own destiny, and then going and creating the life that you want, not hoping that somehow there's magically going to be more affordable housing. Or, I remember when we were in high school driving around and you'd see subdivisions where it would say, homes starting in the high 80s.
Yeah.
Low 90s,
Oh yeah.
Right? Like those days are gone and they're never coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not coming back. But I have so many good stories of clients who are just up against the odds. They're fighting so much, things against them, and they make it happen. And they control their own destiny, and they do it in miraculous ways with either the upbringing or the financial issues or the health issues or stuff that was thrown at them, and they overcome all of it. Yeah. And, it's inspiring to hear those stories, of those success stories with people who could have gave up. and didn't.
Yeah. So if you had to start over again right now, right? Like let's rewind back 10 years ago, you had to start over right now. You had $5,000 to your name. What would you do?
With a real estate purchase?
Anything, right? Like if you had to go into real estate, if you're going to purchase real estate, if you're going to go into some other career path, I mean, I'm guessing I know you.
Yeah.
Say, no, I definitely want real estate.
Yeah.
But what would you do with that? And like, how would you start over again right now in 2025 if you had $5,000 to your name and you had to go start over and go try to rebuild?
I would have still gone into real estate, and I would have probably every time I would have hired a little quicker to try to have more support instead of being hard-headed and thinking I could do everything on my own the first few years. And I ran myself ragged and balls were getting dropped, but I was controlling. And now I like to say I'm not a micromanager at all. You can ask me on my team. I trust them. I don't micromanage them. I believe in them. But I would have done a lot of the same thing, but I would have probably had support along the way quicker. And that $5,000 I would have bet on myself. Instead of spending $5,000 on a billboard ad, I would have taken you for a $5 cup of coffee and just got personal and did it again. $5 cup of coffee, $5 cup of coffee. And I would have just organically grown it that way. And I would have done everything in the world that's sweat equity. Hey, let me come mow your lawn. Let me do your gutters. Let me come, help. Let me coach your kid in basketball. Let me do things that cost no money that are just all value adds that are sweat equity.
Yeah. Love it. What do you feel like the mindset, the skill set, anyone that knows you're a super high energy guy, and it's not hard to tell, like, okay, yeah, like this dude is a successful athlete, and that's carried into your mindset, right? Like you can see it in people. What do you feel like sports gave you the most in moving into your career? How did sports shape and impact you, and what was maybe the single biggest lesson that you took from that into your career?
Sports brought more to my life, family, and business than anything I could have dreamed of. When you're in the thick of playing sports, whether it's little guys to middle school to high school to college to pro, you think that sport is so important, that the shots you missed, that the turnovers you had are just paramount, they're catastrophic. Losing a big game, you're crying, you're devastated, the world's over. All those things are little puzzles that keep growing this picture, this beautiful picture you're creating. And the losses that I felt like my heart was ripped out of me, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't sleep, I was so upset. All those have shaped me. Boise State, running the decks every single time. I had staples from here to here because I hit a bleacher, and we get up to 20-something decks, and I'm puking after every time. My hands are shaking, and I know that my body just kept going and going. My brain was telling me to quit, but there's so much more we have in us that sports give you that way. I mean, I'm in biology class or math class. None of that is in this, this fight or flight panic mode where I'm having to do things that are so uncomfortable. But sports does that. Like, you have to be a good teammate. You have to be coachable. You have to have discipline. There's somebody always better than you that you have to work on yourself. You have to be calm under pressure. You have to be a good teammate. You have to be pumped for them. Sports did everything for me. I was voted most inspirational player every year at Boise State. I was voted the team captain. I never made excuses. If I was on the bench, I was going to high five the people the highest. I wasn't sitting in my own feelings. And I try to parlay that to family, to friendships, being a positive guy. God's blessed us with so much that I don't put a lot of pressure on these little things anymore. I try to see the best of every situation.
Love it. Talk to us about what's the hardest thing you've ever been through in your life, and how'd you get through it?
Probably end of last year, finding out, go back about a year. My mom was diagnosed with ALS, and she was completely healthy, in her 60s, healthy, never smoked, never drank. Everything was perfect. We noticed a shortness of breath. My sister's a doctor. My other sister's like, something's wrong. We take her to all these doctors. No one can figure out what's going on. They diagnose her with that. And it's tough. It's the odds are about as bad as it gets with that. So trying to cope with that, understand why, how, all that, and then having her passing at the end of last year was really rough. It was a lot of emotions I'd never had to deal with. My sisters, my dad. She was our rock. She was the most unselfish, loving. Took me to every game, every event. Would drive to Reno. All the guys on the team would get in there. Never heard a complaint about anything. And now, during her best years of her life, it's taken from her. So that was tough.
Your whole life to get to this point. And now
the best grandma ever, and she doesn't get to be with our kids, with my nieces, with my nephews. It was tough. I mean, it was a lot of soul searching.
So what have you felt like? What are things that you've done to get through that, right? Like people have a choice.
Yep.
I'm a firm believer that bad things happen to everyone.
Yep.
And you have a choice in that. Like, is this going to destroy me? Am I going to, sit and wallow and feel sorry for myself and wish that things were different, wish that my life was different? Or am I going to get up and make something different about it? I'm sure that this is something that impacts you every single day.
Yeah.
But like, what do you choose in that? And I'm sure, knowing you like I do, I'm going to guess that you probably hear your mom's voice and, say to yourself like, hey, Matt, get up and go do it better. Right?
Oh, no question.
Get up and go do something better today than you did yesterday.
Yeah, there's like two things. And you could be mad at all the memories you're going to miss, or you can be so grateful of all the memories you had and she shaped. And we like to focus on that and try to work so hard to leave a legacy behind in her name. And now I tell our kids, grandma can see you everywhere instead of just when you were physically present with her. But it was tough. I mean, you always say it's not going to be me, right? You always see something and you feel bad for them, but you're like, that's them. It's not going to be me. So sitting in that and seeing my family, it was tough, but man, she's with us every day. She inspires me daily. I mean, the picture, I look at her, it's special. I mean, it's all just good memories. I talked at her funeral, and it was, as a kid, I was always into getting points. And I'd be like, Mom, I dropped 20 points. And she goes, but Matthew, how many assists did you have? I'd be like, I had 2, but I had 20 points. So she'd always humble me in that way. And she wasn't even talking about basketball. She was talking about assists in life. Are you being a good father, husband, friend? Are you being humble? Are you having empathy? Like the whole time the assist to her was, it's bigger than basketball. It's not about scoring. It's about everything else. So it shaped me. I mean, she's amazing. And yeah, all of us definitely miss her, but we're trying to leave a legacy of her behind.
I love it. I was thinking about this last night as we were sitting at dinner at home with my kids, my family, thinking about, like you say, like we all think it's never going to be us, right? And at some point it is, right? Like we're all standing in line and we never know like when our time is going to come. And so to cherish every single day, to live every day grateful for what you have, to tell the people that you love them, to cherish them, spend time with them, because it can get so easy with all these demands you have in life.
Oh yeah.
Running your business, all the other things you have going on, it can get really easy to get pulled away from the things that matter the most. But at the end of the day, like we all do this for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, you do it for your family. You do it to be able to have those memories with them and to build and shape those, and to not ever get so caught up in the thick of it that you miss those opportunities.
Yeah, that's spot on. I mean, that's why you do it, right? Yep.
If you were going to give advice to an 18-year-old right now, right? Like we're just getting past graduation season. I talk to kids, seems like every day, and more of them tell me like, I don't know what I want to do. Everyone tells me I should go to college. I don't know what I want to study. I don't know what I want to do with my life. Like, what would be your advice to someone just graduating from high school right now, not necessarily knowing what direction they want to go with their life?
If they're going to go to college, I get a broad degree. Get business or marketing, because everything in the world is going to be business or marketing. You're marketing yourself every day, right? So marketing and business to me are the two most important. Obviously, finance, accounting and finance is, but I'd go broad, and I go with a broad degree. Don't go into political science like me. I don't use political science very much in my life. So I tell them if they want to go to college, do that. But I get as many interns and as much job, real world experience as possible. Go work as a roofer. Go work in an accounting office. Go see what you like, but you have to see what you like. You got to get out there. You got to get into these industries and see where your passion is. When I was 18 years old, real estate wasn't even on the map. Yeah. I did not go to high school saying I want to be a real estate agent. That never happened. I want to be a pro basketball player. That was my whole focus. And then lawyer because it sounded good. Yeah. But you have to get out and get in the work environment and get out there and meet people and talk to people and say, hey, you own an electrical company. Can I please buy you lunch? You have to eat lunch. What time? I'll come. I'll bring it to your truck. I'll do whatever it takes. Get out there. And if you ask 50 business owners for a meeting, I guarantee one's going to say yes. Yeah. And then you ask another one, right? But you have to get through there. And you have to kind of get out there and broaden your wings.
So figuring out what you want to do, go in all after that. And this is a consistent theme, right? Like I have a 14-year-old son named Cam, and I tell him this all the time, and it's a consistent theme that we hear with every guest that we have on here. Like, you have to be willing to go do things that other people aren't willing to go do, right? Like, whether that's go buy 50 people lunch, go meet them. Hey, anytime, anywhere, can I please come shadow you? I'll come work for you for free. I'll come do this. I'll come do that. Like, whatever it is, you have to be willing to do by virtue of wanting to be exceptional, by virtue of wanting to be the top 1% at anything. You have to be different than the other 99. Like, what is it that I can do that no one else is willing to do? And that is what sets you apart. That's what makes you unique. And so if you want to be like everyone else, you do the things that everyone else does. If you don't want to be like everyone else, if you want to have an exceptional life where you get control when you show up, when you don't, you get control where you go. If you get to go on vacation with your family, if you get to sit courtside at a Boise State game, right? If you get to like do all these things that, hey, like, this is what I want to do. So how do I work to go figure out to go make it happen? Like, it doesn't happen on accident. You have to be intentional about those decisions and choices that you make in your life and what you do with your time, and saying no to things. I'm sure you have to say no to things all the time.
All the time. I mean, life's hard. Life is hard. There's a lot of things that are really, really hard. Getting up early is hard. Not being able to pay the bills is hard. Working out is eating right, being a good person, making a phone call. Everything is hard. So
someone telling you can't go to your kid's basketball game is hard, right? Someone telling you can't leave work and make it to your daughter's play, that's hard too.
Yeah. I mean, I left the kids camp today, and I'm jealous of all the parents that are sitting and getting to watch. It's hard, but I think we choose our hard, right? And there's different sacrifices, and there's pros and there's cons, but no matter what scenario, and I've talked to the people that are so much higher than me, and then people that are grinding, trying to get to the level I am, it's hard for everybody. It's just different, right? You get to choose your destiny. I'd rather choose my destiny and choose my hard than have my hard chosen for me. So I mean, it's always going to be hard. People who are retired, who have all the time, they have their own set of things. So it's, I don't think you're ever going to have something just completely figured out. I'm a complete finished product. I don't believe it exists.
Well, let's talk about that also, because that's the other reason why we call this 1% podcast, is becoming 1% better every day. What are the things that you do to work on yourself and improve yourself every day? Obviously, like listening to podcasts, reading books, meeting with people. Like, what are things that you found, meditating, like training, like what are things that you like doing? What do you feel like you've put in your life, and those habits have helped make you 1% better every day?
So I do these weird things. It could be even as getting up in the morning. If I think you're getting up at 5 in the morning, I set my alarm for 4:59 or 4:44, because everybody got up at 4:45. I beat by a minute. But if you compound the 1% every day, whatever it is, one extra call, one extra meeting, one extra workout, just every single day, it compounds crazy. You've heard the story. Would you rather have $1 million or a penny a day that doubles every day for a month? I mean, it's a wild number on if you just bet on yourself. You compare. Coach Pete used to always say that. Get 1% better today. Get 1% better today. And it stuck with me. I mean, none of us are superheroes. I mean, back to Boise State, guys are jumping higher, stronger, faster. You have to do things that others aren't willing to do, no matter who you are. If you want to stand out and you want to, get to whatever goal you have, you got to be doing uncomfortable things.
And the beautiful part about that compounding interest when it relates to yourself is that what becoming 1% better today is different than what becoming 1% better tomorrow is, right? Because your 100% is now better than it was yesterday, and now you're getting better than that.
Absolutely.
Better than that, right? And you fast forward, you see people in life that believe in this, that work on themselves constantly, that, it may not be evident to anyone that's looking at it today. But if you look back in time, you look back a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, like these are the people that go dominate every industry that there is. Like, this is a lot to have you on, is because like what you've done, no one's going to go do overnight. But it's the consistent act of doing something every single day, of getting a little bit better every single day. I'm sure you can probably look back at some of your stuff 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm night and day different from where I was, because we've just gotten better. We've improved. We're not a finished product.
Yeah. And you're so right in now. You're so stuck in the, what's happening right now, that sometimes if you're like me, you're like, what's next? And you don't always go back and appreciate the growth and the evolution of what happened previously, like going back 5 years and seeing where you were at. Sometimes we need to celebrate the victories and the growth more than we do, instead of always looking forward.
Yeah, and I think that that's a thing, especially with hyper ambitious people, right? That you're so goal driven and focused on what's ahead, and like, I haven't reached this goal yet, I haven't reached that goal yet, I'm trying to get here. Nope, I'm not looking behind me, I'm focusing on the future. But when you do stop and take a moment and turn around, and in a way, it almost kind of feels cringe at times. You're like, oh man, look how bad I was.
Yeah.
Look how bad I was 10 years ago. But looking back, you can appreciate and say, look how far I've come.
Yep. No question.
Look at how far I've come. I tell this story sometimes. I was hiking with a group of young men from church that we took on this camp out. We were hiking up to this peak in the Sawtooths, and a few of the boys were kind of, struggling carrying their gear. And so I threw some of their gear in my bag, and some of the other leaders did as well. And we're going, and it's like, we're like 7, 8, 9 miles into this thing, and it's hot outside. And I'm like, holy crap, right? And I'm looking at the top of the mountain where we have to get to. I'm like, holy cow, like, there's no way I'm going to make it, and there's no way a bunch of these boys are going to make it either. But just like putting my head down, just saying like, hey, I'm just focusing on one step.
Yep.
Like, make one more step, make another one, make another one, make another one. And pretty soon, like, I turn around, like, look back, and it's like, holy cow, like, look how far we've come. And sometimes not even looking up at the mountain, because sometimes that can become overwhelming, right? Like, you look at how big your goal is and how far away it is. Sometimes it can seem overwhelming, but just like putting your head down and saying, just focus on one step today.
Yep. That's spot on. I mean, go one step, and just keep going until you can't go anymore. Yeah.
Matt, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Dude, this is awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate having you, your wisdom and your experiences. Thank you for sharing that with us. Appreciate you. If people want to get hold of you, where do they find you? What's the best place to reach you?
Yeah, on Instagram, Matt Bauscher, BauscherRealEstate.com is the website. My email's matt@BauscherRealEstate.com. I mean, contact me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to reach out.
You can find this dude at any Boise State basketball game, football game, anything like that. He's the one with his hat on backwards.
I bleed blue and orange. Yeah, blood, blue and orange comes out.
Love it. So appreciate it, Matt.
Thank you, Cam.